USA Lacrosse headquarters is the place to be to kickstart the weekend. The Atlas Cup is the main event. 8 teams, 4 games that boast the best players in the world, and the coverage starts right now. Happy Hour Lacrosse under ideal conditions. We're based in Sparks, Maryland, 20 minutes north of Baltimore. Tierney Field opens its doors for the opening game of the men's tournament as Team Canada hits the turf with Team Haudenosaunee. It is great to see you again alongside Mitch, Belisle, Team USA outdoor and indoor defender. I'm Joe Beninati. There's a great deal of expectation about this tournament, a lot of excitement surrounding the Atlas Cup. Drill down on the expectations for Canada and Haudenosaunee.
Canada is looking to take the next step. They won the championship at the World Lacrosse Championships in 2022. They're looking to take that next step and really build towards LA 28. On the other side, the Haudenosaunee, a lot of new faces, young players who are athletic and looking to build on that core for the future.
Off and running with this one. First game in the men's bracket. Team Haudenosaunee is in the white, Canada in the black jerseys. 30-second shot clock in sixes. Kyle Jackson, 47 for Haudenosaunee. Playing catch here with Blaze Becker. Shot clock's at 7. Hesitating and firing, that goes wide of the netminder Dylan Ward. Stone Jacobs let it fly. Canada gets its first offensive possession.
Dylan Ward has been doing this for a long time, and every discipline of the sport, he's going to be a backbone of this Canadian team.
Head coach Eddie Comeau for Canada says Ward is so adaptive. This is really his first official sixes event.
Yeah, he got injured just before that World Games experience, so didn't get a chance to play as Levi Anderson puts that just wide.
Got underneath his defender and sent it wide. The netminder for Team Haudenosaunee, Jack Van Valkenburg, wearing number 8 today. We're looking for the first strike. Earlier today, Maddie Baxter had 4 goals for the Canadian women's team. They downed Puerto Rico 22-8 in the opening game of the Atlas Cup on the USA Lacrosse YouTube channel. A feed to the interior, folded over and score. Beautiful finish by Aubrey Tallchief.
Nice little twister there, just moving the ball. It'll be interesting to see, Joe, how much they go behind the goal because you don't have that backup responsibility. Last person to touch it, ball goes out, the other team gets it like basketball. So it'll be interesting to see how much they go behind the net.
Tic-tac-toe passing. As usual for Canada, the ball movement will be exquisite in this one. Haudenosaunee looking to put goals back-to-back. Aubrey Tallchief with the first strike. Scored 31 with the Juville University in Buffalo. On a wrap, they score. Lightning fast release from Trey Deer.
Just planted his foot, used his defender as a screen, and shot right around it. That's a great strategy, especially with those mid-range shots here because everything is in so tight.
Levi Anderson making a break for it, not able to convert. Haudenosaunee with the first 2 tallies in the first 90 seconds.
What a defensive play by 88 there, Jake Pisano. He knocked that ball out of the air, saved it. He is spectacular. Winning long stick midfielder of the year this year in the PLL. He really does it all.
He did that too when he's playing at the University at Albany in New York. Off a split dodge, a left-handed fire that's deflected. That one whipped by Ron John towards the goal. Team subbing on the fly. Much smaller field than normal in sixes as the officials huddle up.
Yeah, they're debating whether that tipped off a defender's stick, a Canadian stick. And they are going to say that it did. So that not only gets the ball back to the Haudenosaunee, but that should, the clock does not reset. So much like basketball, you play great defense, you knock the ball out of bounds, you get rewarded for that. So the shot clock will stay at 12, and the Haudenosaunee start with the ball.
Kyle Jackson will bring it in. Remember him during his playing days at the University of Michigan. Trying to get on the inside. A stuff attempt there. Goes wide from a bad angle. He was well defended on that play by Alex Marinier.
Kyle Jackson, he's one of the lone veterans on this group, and they're really looking to him to set that tone offensively and be the guy they lean on heavily. You can see he picks up the ball off the end line. Those are the kind of plays they need him to make.
Clark Peterson has it. LeClaire will switch. Levi Anderson out of his cross. Shot clock's at 9. Anderson on the isolation. Sweeping from the top, skip it to Leclerc, who's a long-range gunner. Teat fires one wide of the goal. Another empty possession for Team Canada.
And that's the thing about this Sixes game, Joe. It's so fast, so back and forth. You make one or two mistakes and you don't capitalize. It's all about efficiency. As we talked to Eddie Comeau, coach for Canada, you got to strike and you got to stop the runs of the other team.
That's Mitch Belisle. I'm Joe Beninati. Mitchell Pehlke is our sideline reporter here at Tierney Field in Sparks, Maryland. Sun setting on a beautiful Friday night. Sneaky release there. Ward made a good save on a blazing shot from Colton Marquis. Canada in the all-black, bringing it back offensively. Be careful of Willem Firth, 14 in the black. Teat with a great move. He scores.
And there's a reason he has been the MVP of many lacrosse tournaments over the last year and a half. Now showing that he can do it in sixes as well. So deceptive. He gets the goalie to move and then pulls it short side.
Right back, though. Haudenosaunee will strike on an inside feed to Ron John. 3-1, Haudenosaunee in the white. We're more than halfway through the opening quarter. Running time, 8-minute quarters in the Atlas Cup. Good hedge there on the perimeter. Defense turned in by Trey Deer. Haudenosaunee looking for some transition. Leclerc gets back with a stick check on Tayoni Galante. Crossfield picking up Firth. Then Teat rockets another one to the back of the cage, his second of the game.
Yeah, he's a guy you don't want to leave open, Joe. Pretty lethal from that spot. It'll be interesting to see here. If any team calls a timeout, you get 2 timeouts per half. So much like basketball, if you feel like you're losing some momentum, you might see an early timeout here, but teams trading blows right now.
Marquis playing a little two-man game, gets to the inside. Firth there, behind the back flick goes wide. This will belong to Canada. Canada has a chance to tie this trip. Opening game for these two squads in the Atlas Cup on the USA Lacrosse YouTube channel. Folks, don't miss your opportunity to win cash prizes. Details are in the live chat. Another of those two-man games finds Teat with back-to-back goals. Teat leaning in, draws a double. Beautiful flick. The outside fire knocked down from Marinier as Van Valkenburg stands tall.
They're one of the reasons they brought Van Valkenburg in. I talked to Zed Williams. He talked about his quick hands. He's got that quick hand. He played at Albany and Mount St. Mary's, and you can see that as he reacts to the shot, gets that ball up and out. And every shot is basically a turnover when you think about it, right?
Small in stature, Van Valkenburg, Mitch, but he plays a big game. He was Warren Hill's understudy for a long time for Team Haudenosaunee.
We have our first extra man opportunity here as they're going to send Trey Leclerc to the box. You got 3 different kinds of penalties, 3 different cards, the green, the yellow, and the red.
Stone Jacobs in possession for Haudenosaunee, man up. Marquis swings it back behind the goal. That's where Kyle Jackson operates. Ron John straight away. Shot clock's at 15, tough angle. Not enough room there for Marquis. He sailed it wide. This goes back to Canada.
You mentioned they transferred the ball behind, but immediately you see everyone rotate above the goal line. There's really no benefit to being behind the goal.
How important is the communication in sixes? Things happen so quickly.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of time to react because everything's in so tight. So you got to just make plays, talk to each other, and try to make sure that you're getting the ball out of your stick offensively and defensively communicating with each other.
Back to even strength. Kyle Jackson has a steal. One-on-one. He'll work in against Ty English. Beats him and scores. Jackson makes it 4-2, Haudenosaunee. Rod Scott will bring it along.
That's really the first transition goal we've seen today. Both teams kind of feeling each other out, settling it down a little bit more, not pushing the pace. That's the first time we've really seen them push it.
Marinier's sidewinder is deflected towards the parking lot. Sun starting to set here at Tierney Field. Earlier today, Team Canada's women's squad downing Puerto Rico in temperatures that were hovering around 90 degrees on the field. Officials with a stoppage in play, 32 seconds remaining in this opening quarter. Check on the equipment there, the headgear of Dalton Kane. Fast, aggressive player, 16 in the white.
He's a coach. He's got that mentality. He coaches at McGill up outside Montreal, and he really knows how to be that IQ on the field as well as do it with his physical stature, like you said.
Pretty good on the ice rink, too. Here he comes, working in against Marinier, turns the corner. Here comes a double. Shot clock violation against Haudenosaunee. Last 10 seconds of a rapidly played opening quarter. Wandering back on the move, English. Going to the goal, he scores! English brings the score up for Canada as we've played 8 minutes. End to end, a slow start for the Canadians. They showed their mettle as we went further along in that quarter.
Yeah, it felt a little bit like a boxing match. They were jabbing, trying to feel each other out. And then you saw a little bit of the guys, the horses opening up and running back and forth, the 2 transition goals to cap off the period.
Promises to be a very good one as usual. Team Canada against Haudenosaunee in the 2025 Atlas Cup. We're back to Sparks, Maryland in just a few moments.
The skills you learn on the field can be the foundation for anything you choose to do in life.
Thank you for connecting me to a greater community.
We're growing beyond goals on the field.
And our futures are united.
So thank you, Lacrosse.
For inspiring me to be me.
We are better,
Safer,
And wiser together.
and we're building a stronger future
For everyone.
2 squads putting on a good show here at the Atlas Cup. We start the men's bracket with Team Canada and Team Haudenosaunee. And after 8 action-packed minutes, Haudenosaunee has the 4-3 advantage. Pace of play-wise, Mitch, for these 2 squads, favor one side or the other?
Yeah, right now it looks like both are kind of didn't jam down the gas to start. They wanted to feel each other out. They wanted to use the full 30-second shot clock. And then as we got going, you could see a little bit more up and down action. We saw a transition goal by Kyle Jackson, one by Ty English. The key here is being efficient with the ball.
Conditioning has to be so important. This is a short tournament, 3 games in 3 days.
Yeah, it's quick turnarounds. It's also only 8-minute quarters, right? So you got to be able to push, recover quickly, and then get ready to go again.
You don't have draws in the women's game other than to start quarters. Similarly, no face-offs for the men other than to start quarters in these contests.
Tough roster to make for face-off.
Oh,
men,
boy,
right?
I would say.
You got to be able to do a little bit more than just one thing in sixes. And that's one thing I think, Joe, is really cool. You got to be an athlete to play sixes, whether it's men's, women's, whatever it is. This version of the sport showcases speed, athleticism, and the ability to handle the ball.
Head coach Eddie Comeau for Team Canada said he wanted his team to be efficient offensively, be deliberate, be intentional at that end. You could see them starting to click with more precision as the quarter went along, and they get the first offensive touch of quarter number 2.
Well, 30 seconds is a quick shot clock, but there's still a fair amount of time to set things up, see what develops, and then get a quality shot at the end.
Willem Firth stutters to the inside, beats the over-the-head check and scores. Pretty for Firth to tie it at 4.
Firth, known as an outside shooter at Cornell, but able to show a little bit of deception there, getting underneath. Usually he's covered by a long pole. He likes that short stick matchup.
Ron John played at the University of Albany. From a bad angle, Ward got those shins together to make the denial.
Yeah, and those are the type of shots, Joe, that are tough because in field, that's a great shot, but when you get in this tight area, these goalies are so good, that's a turnover immediately. The ball's going the other way.
Teat, whose resume speaks for itself, had a couple of goals in the opening quarter. This is Leclerc off the sweep. On the flip, Teat feeds inside. That's pretty, and it's a stash put away for Clark Peterson.
What a feed. Teat and Peterson, they've been doing that for a lot of years together, dating back to their Cornell days, and you can see that just connection. He knew where he was, threw it right behind his back, and put it right on the money.
Creativity blossoms so much in the sixes format. Pacino fires from deep. He scores.
Creativity and then sometimes brute force, right? Sometimes you just got to hammer it from the outside.
This is the first time I've seen Jake Pacino play without a long pole. And I would imagine he's so devastating with a long stick as Canada responds and comes right back with a blazer from English. But Pacino with a short stick must be even more difficult for a netminder to stop.
Absolutely, and he plays in the NLL, so he has that experience with the short stick. He played box growing up, but certainly a transitionary period.
Submarine shot from Marquis dents the twine. Back and forth we go in the 6-6 affair.
We talked about teams feeling each other out early. Now it just seems like they're really testing the limits of the goaltenders. They're shooting from that mid-range when they get their feet set and seeing what's going to go.
Teat serves it up top, bringing it around for Leclerc. Skipping on through for Teat. From the angle, he zips it to the top corner. He has the hat trick.
And part of that, Joe, might just be they're getting a little tired, right? So they're not putting as much pressure out on the shooters.
A chance there, getting behind the defense, was Blaze Becker. Played collegiately at St. Bonaventure. Scored 3 goals for the Bonnies in 2025.
He's looking for his first tonight, trying to get everyone to share the ball. That's one thing all these coaches have talked about. It's not a get the ball in one guy's stick. Everyone has to share the load.
Leclerc motors in and zips a rocket to the top corner.
That's what he's known for, that outside shot. Maybe not as valuable in 6s, but sometimes you got to let it fly, and that he does.
Crossing over, this one downstairs from Stone Jacobs. The goal scoring fast and furious in the second quarter. Canada trailed 4-3 after 1. Teat wants it in his cross against Pacino. Fidgets down low, kicked out of there by Van Valkenburg. Off the goalie, it's a shot clock reset and possession for Canada.
And that's our first reset we've seen of the game so far, Joe. So this will be interesting to see what Canada does with a full 30, a more tired defense. Will they take that full 30 or will they look to strike right away?
Canada coaches Camo, Brody Merrill, Jordan Hall. They're going to get Teat the ball an awful lot in his cross in this game.
That was Trey Leclerc trying to put that one through Brooker Muir, but Brooker Muir got the soak.
Trey Leclerc in his collegiate days at Ohio State, 3 times an All-American, 2 times All-Big Ten. And I remember one particular 6-goal game he had against Johns Hopkins in the Big Ten tournament in the semifinals. It was just outrageous. You could put no limits on Leclerc's distance from the goal to score. Scott on a redodge, tries to swim inside. Crease violation, though, against Ross Scott.
Ross Scott, the West Lynn, Oregon native, dual citizenship, playing for Canada. He is the guy, I actually worked with him when he was in high school, and I remember being like, that kid is going to be something special.
You knew it then, huh?
He had that.
Could you cover him? Could you cover him?
I worked with him. I was long retired by then,
see.
But absolutely not.
Timeout on the field here at Tierney Field, USA Lacrosse headquarters, Sparks, Maryland. We're about 20 minutes north of Baltimore. Joe Beninati, Mitch Belisle watching over Canada and Haudenosaunee in this one. Team USA's men's squad in the next game. They'll tangle with Puerto Rico. The USA women have the nightcap, the end of the 4-day run this Friday in Atlas Cup play. On the USA Lacrosse YouTube channel, just a reminder, folks, don't miss your opportunity to win cash prizes. Details are in the live chat.
What a weekend here at Sparks. They're talking about the stands have been sold out for a couple days already. They are selling extra tickets on the berms. It's going to be a great atmosphere over the next 3 days, and we can already see more and more fans kind of trickling in as people wrap up their Friday, getting ready for this big weekend.
A round-robin tournament on the men's and women's side. Temperatures much cooler now as the sun is hidden behind the clouds. Black jerseyed Canada has an early hat trick from Jeff Teat. Couple of goals on the board from Ty English as well. Haudenosaunee sharing the wealth. Haudenosaunee with its tally at the moment. No multiple goal scorers for the Nationals in white.
And that's almost what they expected. They wanted to share the ball and have everyone do a little bit of everything.
Ron John underneath to score.
And there's the first multi-goal tally.
There you go.
John notches his second.
Leclerc will walk it ahead. We're through halfway of the second quarter. And a timeout asked for by Eddie Camo and Team Canada.
And you're allowed 2 timeouts per half. So both teams kind of, I think that first quarter, you're just trying to get your sea legs under you, feel it out. And then this second quarter, like, okay, let's see how we can strategically use these timeouts to either draw something up or try to stop a run from the other team when they start rattling off 2 or 3 goals in a row. But we've really had back and forth action, no big extended leads.
With all that back and forth play, what do you expect from a substitution standpoint?
It looks like right now they're kind of subbing 2-3 guys at a time. So they're doing a good job of not sending everyone at the same time.
Sharing that full roster with you for Team Haudenosaunee. Haudenosaunee playing Puerto Rico tomorrow. Canada gets the United States in a marquee matchup as you look at the entirety of the 12-man Team Canada roster. A couple of very stout netminders, very seasoned and accomplished in Dylan Ward and Brett Dobson.
Yeah, those guys have been doing unbelievable work in every format of lacrosse. And that's what's so cool with the sixes. You've got box, you've got field, now you've got sixes. And you can see the best players kind of rise to the top in each of those disciplines.
Teat, the PLL MVP of 24, sharing the ball with LeClaire. Switch the point of attack now. Wicked drive off the inside of the post. That was a laser from Levi Anderson. 33 goals with St. Joe's most recently for the Hawks. Cannon shot from the wing that didn't hit pay dirt. Marquis, a worm burner to strike.
You can see every time both sides are getting that 2-3 feet of space, they are just setting their feet and letting it fly.
Willem Firth has it. Eddie Camo says he can be another Jeff Teat type player. Ty Banks, who usually gets the #1 defensive matchup for Georgetown, showing an offensive bent in this tournament. Good save, Van Valkenburg. The officials awarding the ball to Haudenosaunee.
Yeah, Ty Banks sprinted to try to chase that. It's almost like if you know that's going out in the sixes, you might as well just bail out and get back and play D instead of, because you can't save it and you can't really run it out.
Nearly a Ward there, a snapshot. They're going to say no goal. Dalton Kane threw the arm out.
And that's a great call by you, Joe. That was a Ward, so that's going to be a 30-second penalty.
Kane, who's committed to play at the University at Albany, 16, will have a seat. This will be a man-up opportunity for Canada.
Penalty on Canada for a hold.
So that's the second penalty on Canada. The Haudenosaunee have not been penalized
So not the
yet.
Ward, but a hold.
It was a hold, yeah. The hold on the Ward.
Okie dokie. Man up for Haudenosaunee in white. That bid blocked. Good defensive effort there by Banks as he took a BB off the leg from Trey Deer. Pacino from deep, he scores. Another sizzler from 88.
You mentioned the short stick versus long stick. Doesn't seem like he's having any trouble adjusting to getting that leverage with the short stick, does it?
Mitch, he can pound it. Holy smokes. 90 seconds left in the half. Canada in the black in possession. Clark Peterson finagles to the inside, gets underneath it, scores. Peterson converts. A tight game here at Tierney Field. 10-9 for Haudenosaunee in the white.
Just a little too much space. You can see 1, 2, 3 feet. If you don't crowd that Dodger, especially with these guys when they're so low and close to the goal, you have to get in their gloves.
Trey Deer wants it. On the bad angle, Dylan Ward straightened up to make that stop for Canada. Teat wanted to go in transition. The officials slowing the tempo. We're in the last minute of the opening half.
And here we see 4 Team Canada players come off and then 4 go on. So Ross Scott has a 1-on-5 and almost makes it happen.
A great first step for Scott, but that's his second crease violation of this opening half. Giving the ball back to Haudenosaunee, a chance for them to build on a 1-goal lead.
Timeout.
Roger Chrysler asking for time for Team Haudenosaunee. Chrysler, along with Zed Williams and Jim Barnes, the coaching brain trust for Team Haudenosaunee.
Got a chance to catch up with that staff before the game. You see Zed Williams, former teammate of mine. Zed is an unbelievable competitor, and I got a chance to talk to him this week, and he just talked about wanting guys that were all in. They want players that are making lacrosse their lifestyle, and I think that's why they went so young here. They want guys that are in college, are going to be right out of college, especially as they look towards the 28 Olympics. They want guys that are going to spend the next 3 years developing into the best lacrosse players they can possibly be.
And when lacrosse is back in LA, in the Olympics, I should say, in LA in 2028, it will be this sixes discipline. You've been an outdoor player, an indoor player for Team USA. When you take the treetops point of view of this discipline, what do you like most about sixes?
I think I love the speed of it. I love the fact that whether or not you know lacrosse, you can figure out what's going on right away. And then I love just the physicality, the up and down, and the fact that either gender is a very similar game, right? It's not like men's and women's is completely foreign. They're very similar, so it's great for both genders.
The purist in me loves the outdoor game for good reasons. And don't get me wrong, I love it when you guys are battling in box lacrosse and the indoor game. But the purist in me allows us a little chance for conversation in the normal field game. This is so lightning quick, and it's highlight after highlight, which sports fans love. Jackson gets underneath, and there's Ward using all that tall frame to shut down the top corner. Listed at 6'5", Dylan Ward, who is an All-American at Bellarmine. There's a card coming up. Extra man opportunity late in this opening half.
And that's going to be a push on Canada. They have now gone to the box 3 times to Haudenosaunee's 0. So we'll see if this Haudenosaunee team can capitalize here right before the end of the half. I wouldn't be surprised if they hold the ball to try to get that last second shot instead of giving up a shot and then the ball coming down and giving one up to tie it up.
What are the defensive man-down concepts for Canada?
Beautiful, because it's just like box. They make either a diamond or a square. They're trying to force the outside shot, take away skip passes.
Kyle Jackson walking it in as time runs on the game clock. Trey Deere, switch it. On the skip there, it's off the cross of Aubrey Tall Chief as the buzzer sounds, ending the opening 16 minutes of play. At the half, Team Haudenosaunee has the 1-goal lead.
Back and forth action, you could see the speed. If the first quarter was a feeling out process, this was a let me test my range process. Let me see how far out we can shoot, and let's see who's going to defend me. And I think both teams got some benefits.
2 good squads in a very strong battle here at Tierney Field. Done with 2 quarters of play. We're halfway home. This is Atlas Cup on USA Lacrosse YouTube channel. Back to Sparks after these words. Two quarters down, Haudenosaunee and Canada on the men's side. The initial game of the Atlas Cup men's bracket. A back and forth affair. It was 4-3 Haudenosaunee after 1 quarter. The 2 teams trading 6 markers apiece in that 2nd quarter. And with Haudenosaunee out in front by 1, 10-9. If you're defending against Jeff Teat, 7 in the black of Canada, I know that's an unenviable position to be in, but what are the concepts that you need to use to keep him in check?
Yeah, I think what you want to do is just not let him get his hands free is key, so you got to be close to him. And then the second thing is just contain him. If you can contain him, he's going to find those feeds, he's going to find those shots when he's open, but you got to try to do your best to make sure he's doing it under a little bit of pressure.
Those are the first half thoughts of Mitch Belisle. Our sideline reporter is Mitchell Pehlke, and he has this overview of the opening 2 quarters.
Going blow for blow, absolutely. I mean, Canada and obviously Haudenosaunee, it's going back and forth. You don't even realize Haudenosaunee is up by 1. You got Ross Scott, Trey Leclerc, even Alex Marnier pulling up from deep, and Haudenosaunee is doing on all angles. I mean, Piscino just almost ripped the net from 2-point range, so it's been exciting to see, and it's got to get you fired up. I mean, the best players from all over the world are playing here as a central tryout to get to where they want to go in LA in 2028. It's going to be a packed 3 days. If you guys are watching on the stream, you guys can make some money. I know Joe and Mitch have been talking about that, but I'm excited for tonight and the rest of the 2 days.
Mitchell, we appreciate it. And keep your hands out of Belisle's pockets. Don't take any of his money that quickly. These two teams getting their rest at the half. We can share some first half highlights. There were plenty of them in the opening 16 minutes.
Yeah, you can just see it in the highlights. It's back and forth. Watch how quickly the ball comes out of the net. Whether you score or don't score, goalies are picking it up and pushing it the other direction. You can see physical play. Jeff Teat, hands-free. Don't want to see that if you're the Haudenosaunee defense or goaltenders. But both sides of the ball, quick ball movement, attacking, and then when you have that space, setting your feet and getting those open shots like you see right there by Jeff Teat. Again, he's got 3 to lead Canada right now.
Haudenosaunee explosive in its own right. Jackson with a beautiful move, able to convert. Both of these teams showing that they have numerous offensive weapons.
Yeah, and you look at the Haudenosaunee scorers. Jake Pisano's got 2. Ron John's got 2. Both of those guys more defensive players. So you can see there's really a premium on being able to finish when you have your opportunities, but also being athletic between the lines.
Teat so clever with those behind-the-back passes, and guys like Clark Peterson are not going to fail. That's the Pisano rip from deep. I don't know if you can keep him within range. Once he gets across that midfield line, I think that's probably shooter's range for Pisano.
Yeah, now Brett Dobson will step in net and try to make those saves as Dylan Ward will get a little bit of a break. So Haudenosaunee don't have that same benefit. They've got a warm goaltender who's played great, Jack Van Valkenburg. He'll stay in the net, and we'll see a different face in Brett Dobson, who led them to victory in Birmingham in 2022.
Earlier today, Team Canada's women's squad prevailed over Puerto Rico in the first game of the Atlas Cup, knocked them off by the final score of 22-8. Maddie Baxter had 4. Erica Evans and Aurora Cordingley had hat tricks for Team Canada. As we continue to look at some first half highlights, it's Peterson on his way to the goal. But when Eddie Camo was talking to us during this week, leading up to the event, he said, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves with regard to picking the Sixes national team for the Olympics. It's a long runway between now and then, but all of these guys are trying to make great impressions.
Yeah, as one of the Kavanaugh brothers said in an interview, it's going to be the hardest team to make in lacrosse, right? There's so many people that want to do this from every country and only 12 spots. So you'll see guys going all out over the course of this weekend, trying to, like you said, earn their stripes.
Start the second half with one of the rare face-offs. It's a violation that will give the ball to Team Canada in the black. Joe Beninati, Mitch Belisle in the booth. Mitchell Pehlke's our sideline reporter. Shout out of thanks to all the men and women in our technical crew throughout the day and night. This is the second of 4 games in the Atlas Cup today. 4 more tomorrow, 4 more on Sunday, as Firth missed the mark.
Joe, it's funny, I was talking to Andy German, assistant coach for Puerto Rico. He said, which I thought was amazing, every shot is a turnover, right? Even if you score, the goalie gets the ball and it's going the other way.
True.
So no matter what, every shot you take is a turnover. It's just how you react after each of those shots and whether or not they put a point on the board for you.
Firth with a good stick check there, then he bowled it back into Haudenosaunee territory. Officials bringing play to a halt and giving Canada possession. Palms up, though. The Zebra Stripes want to have a chat.
I think they were debating whether that was going to be over and back. You've got 10 seconds to clear it across the midline, and then just like basketball, you can't go over and back. So I guess they're going to say that because it was knocked back by Canada, that Haudenosaunee will retain possession there.
Ball is in the cross of Jake Pisano, best defender in the World Tournament of 2023 in San Diego. A point that Mitch Belisle made earlier today. Woo, hard hitting. Coming up with that scoop, Tyler English, who was just drafted 2nd overall in the NLL.
And that's the second time I've seen Ty English lay the body. You're technically not allowed to have a full-on body check in this discipline, but the refs are letting him play a little bit more physical than I expected so far. As long as they keep it consistent, I think all these coaches will be happy with that.
Teat spins out of an early double, and with another high heat shot, it's Levi Anderson, who shows a great left-handed trigger for Canada. Walking in alone, getting behind the defense. It's a put away for Stone Jacobs. right back at you. Here we go with the scoring in this one.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about with the every shot's a turnover. Beautiful goal there by Anderson, turns right into a goal on the other side. And if you can capitalize on that transition immediately, that's a great way to negate any goals on the other side.
English, part of a very athletic family. Nice look inside, and it's a slam dunk for Firth.
What a finish there, and he's been so good at receiving so many of those passes. A lot of them coming from C.J. Kirst this past year, but he's always sniffing around the crease, and a great extra look there by Anderson, who scored and then dished one.
We've been tied at 4, tied at 8, now tied up at 11. Teat slings this one for Marinier. Then to the opposite side for Leclerc, who was unsuspecting. It's a turnover.
And that's really the first 2 throwaways we've seen back-to-back. Haudenosaunee hadn't thrown the ball away passing, and then Canada. So you see maybe fatigue setting in a little bit, also a little bit more pressure at the midline, as we see right there.
Dalton Kane ramming his way into the offensive territory. Pacino working up top with Kyle Jackson, perhaps the Haudenosaunee's top offensive threat. Jackson on the dive, and a sprawling save was made. Getting across there, Brett Dobson, who's come on in the second half.
Brett Dobson, he's done it big in the PLL. He's played in the PLL's championship series. He also plays for Eddie Camo with the Georgia Swarm, so he knows the book on number 47, Kyle Jackson.
Firth on the exchange for Levi Anderson. Bring it around and set it up. Shot clock's at 4. Quick trigger score again. Canada jumps back out on top.
Ross Scott notches his first goal of the game.
Former 50-goal scorer in NCAA play. Dobson made another save there. He took the lower portion of the goal away from Tyone Galante. Teat on the run. Playmaker finds Leclerc with a buzz bomb.
It just feels like Canada has started to find the seams in this Haudenosaunee defense and is now shooting at will with their hands free. Haudenosaunee got to tighten up. Haudenosaunee got to tighten up and make sure they can't give these away.
That score should be 13-11, favor Canada. Back behind the defense, English walks in, he'll score.
Canada goal 9.
And that's English's second transition goal, showing that he can push the pace a little bit. Toronto Rock are hoping for that this indoor season.
Blaze Becker with it for Haudenosaunee in the white. Down the alleyway for Ron John. He looks the swim move on Marinier. Bad angle. Dobson makes his third stop in succession on Becker. Fresh 30-second shot clock for Haudenosaunee.
What a save there by Dobson. Gets low, hugs the pipe, and then leaves his foot up to make the save.
Kane's pass is low. Ron John with a sizzler off the crossbar. 1,000-mile-an-hour shot ricochets all the way back. Practically to the end line.
You might have to check that pipe. That might be dented in half there, Joe. That was a rip.
Mitch Belisle, the old goalie in me, underline old, really old goalie in me. Oh my goodness, these guys can shoot it.
And this is big for the Haudenosaunee. They get a reset, they get another opportunity. They got to find a way to get a point on the board as Canada scored the last 4 in a row.
Jacobs takes it for a ride, buzzes that one wide. It's Canada's ball. It's 14-11. Favor of Team Canada. It was 10-9 Haudenosaunee at the halftime break. Canada looking for more. Attacking in waves with Willem Firth.
They're slow to get their 5th player on.
Scott waiting for English, the sub off the bench. He beats Ron John on the first step. That drive cuffed aside by Van Valkenburg. It'll stay Canada ball. Shot clock's at 4.
So they're going to say that hit off of the Haudenosaunee defender, so the shot clock does not reset. It's
not
stay
the goalie
6.
in that sense.
Correct.
But still Canada ball, having to work quickly. English fires and scores. Back-to-back goals for English. It's a 4-goal advantage for the Canadians in the dark jerseys. Physical confrontation there near the midline.
And that
as
is
the whistle blares out.
Yeah, I was surprised that there wasn't a penalty. Willem Firth kind of toppled over. So tripped and then fell on top of him. They're going to call him for the original trip. That'll be a 1-minute yellow card.
Willem Firth, former Ivy League Rookie of the Year at Cornell. Usually a top guy when it comes to man-up goals in his own right. In this instance, he puts Canada a man down. Power play time for Haudenosaunee, a chance to chip away at a 4-goal deficit. Jackson from the angle. Deer, then Pacino. Behind the back flick, no shooting lane yet for Becker. This is outside heat for Pacino, gobbled up by Dobson, who's rock solid.
Yeah, and you can see the Haudenosaunee just, they haven't quite put in all their systems yet, so offensively they're just trying to find that skip lane, and they haven't been able to get it yet.
Marinier gets underneath, fanned on that shot, but it looked like he was fouled on his way to the rack.
30-second hold.
You can see that green card, which indicates a 30-second hold. So you can hear they're asking how much time is left on the first call, which was a minute-long penalty.
Canada in possession, tail end of this third quarter. Teat working in on the outside with McConvey. That pass was telegraphed, intercepted, and back comes Haudenosaunee.
You thought 6 was just open. How about 5? So we got 4-on-4 lacrosse here. A lot of space on that 70 by 36 meter field.
Haudenosaunee, Coach Chrysler asking for time here.
And that was a smart play. They were in trouble crossing that midline, worrying about that over and back. They've got the ball. They might have maybe a couple seconds differential here to get something going, but they have a lot of space, 4-on-4. Look for Kyle Jackson out there. Look for Ron John out there, working the two-man game on the left and the right side, trying to swing the ball and find some openings, which they have not been able to do in this third quarter. Only 2 goals on the board so far.
1:27 remaining in the third. At least that's the time on the game clock in stadium here at Tierney Field. Just past the 6 o'clock hour Eastern time. Temperatures much cooler than when we started the opener today on the women's side of the bracket. Also involving Team Canada. They rolled over Team Puerto Rico. Team Puerto Rico held in there, tied up with Canada after just 1 quarter. And then the Canadians turned on the Jets, similar to what the men's team is doing right now, racing back from what was a 10-9 deficit to Haudenosaunee.
And you can just see when the Canadian offense starts to flow together, the quick passes, that behind-the-back pass from Teat to Peterson inside, it's just, they really know where each other are, and they are so smooth with it.
Aubrey Tall Chief sends it out wide for Kyle Jackson. Feed to the interior, that's defended well and taken to safety by Peterson. Running in transition. Drop it on back with a ball down, Pacino. Man ball scramble there, and it comes up for Haudenosaunee.
Peterson, I would have liked to see him just pull that out. They were getting the man back on the floor, or in the field. They had an opportunity to kill that penalty off and had the lead. Now Haudenosaunee will get a chance at the end of the quarter here to get 1 or even 2 goals.
Jackson, bad angle bid sent wide. Kyle Jackson, son of Mike and Kim. Dad is a 50% Native American Turtle Clan. Kyle playing for the Haudenosaunee Nationals. Tierney Field, the USA Lacrosse headquarters in the backdrop. Canada has opened up a 4-goal lead, final 23 seconds of this quarter. Teat wants it on the exchange for Firth. He scores down low.
Firth showing a little bit of that top center outside range. Usually he's posted up on that left side, showing that he can do it from all over the field. With this 6s format, you're going to see the righties and the lefties kind of stay on their halves, but you will get a bit more crossover than in box.
This is rolled wide, Mitch. There was Dalton Kane taking the last shot of quarter number 3. Team Canada with a 7-goal third quarter to take control.
Yeah, they really stepped it up. You could see the spacing and their timing and pacing just all seemed to come together. They got some skip passes through the middle, and they were able to capitalize on some great outside shots late in the shot clock, which is nice too, because then you're taking that full clock.
Just 8 minutes to go in this one. These games fast and furious. Canada has the lead, the fourth quarter ahead from Sparks, Maryland.
see themselves play, and then we can correct it and then bring those corrections to the field. That's every coach's dream.
The action is quieted down. We're through 3/4 of play. 2025 Atlas Cup on the USA Lacrosse YouTube channel. Don't miss your opportunity to win cash prizes. Details that are available in the live chat. Canada has a 16-11 lead after 3. The Canadians will play the USA tomorrow in a feature match. Haudenosaunee will square off with Puerto Rico. Once we are through with this one, the second of 4 games, it'll be time for the USA men to take the field against Puerto Rico. That's the next game to come on Tierney Field. Team Haudenosaunee, Mitch Belisle, running into a roadblock in goal for Canada. Dobson's been extremely strong.
Yeah, he came in for that third quarter and seemed to be ready to go immediately, making an initial save that I think really got him going and seeing the ball. He hugged the pipe, used his foot to kick it away, and then it was all rolling downhill from there. I think this Haudenosaunee team is struggling to get to the interior of the Canadian defense right now. That's what they're going to have to do, push from the inside out to find those lanes and those gaps.
Brooker Muir taking the draw for Haudenosaunee. We draw to start the game, start quarters. No face-offs after goals. This is a wild scramble for possession to start the 4th.
And this is the first real ground ball, a tough contested ground ball we've had all game.
Peterson swivels out of there. And on the go, it's Firth.
Great pace there. What a spot feed and finish for Firth.
Haudenosaunee looking to respond. Ron John to the alley. Peterson keeping tabs on him. Blaze Becker off the split dodge, drawing double team help. Ron John from deep. That's easy pickings for Dobson.
Yeah, you can see a lot more spread out. Looked like the Haudenosaunee were trying to spread Canada out, and they did not take the bait. They stayed tight. They defended and forced that outside rip.
Marinier with a rocket. It's 18-11, largest lead for Canada.
Speaking of outside rips there, as Marinier just labels the corner there. Defender to start, scored 50 goals for Ohio State this past year.
He had 28 in 24 for the Buckeyes. That led them, and then he went nuts for a 50-burger in 2025. That shot, Dobson makes another stop, this time on Tall Chief.
And it just looks like Dobson is on another level, seeing the ball so well.
Ross Scott will hesitate, allow subs to come in off of Eddie Cameau's bench. Teat starts the roll, snapped it high as he got loose from Tall Chief, missing the mark there. Teat with a first half hat trick, giving the ball back to Haudenosaunee.
Oh, and look at the pressure here by Canada as they're all over the Haudenosaunee. They pressured all the way down below the goal line.
Nice pass inside, wrap around behind the back, misfired from Colton Marquis. His career in college began at Johns Hopkins, not far away from where we are. He was born in Montreal, Quebec, 22 in the white.
Now at Albany, like several of the players on the Haudenosaunee team.
English stops and starts and scores. Ty English.
He has really been a force for Canada this series so far already with some big hits, some big goals.
Floodgates have opened for Canada. A sprawling effort that doesn't hit pay dirt from Dalton Kane. And after all of these empty possessions, the Canadians have opened up an 8-goal advantage.
And that's dating back to really early part of the third quarter was the last time the Haudenosaunee were able to find the back of the net. So we're going to get a timeout here. Both teams can try to regroup. The Haudenosaunee had a couple opportunities, but just weren't able to capitalize. That's the efficiency factor. You have to be able to capitalize and break up these runs.
Mitch, we thought we might see a bunch of transition, fast breaks. It hasn't necessarily been that way, and Eddie Cameau counseled his team, we have to be consistent 5-on-5 in those set half field, if you will, type situations, and they have.
Yeah, I think they've been smart with the ball. We've seen very few unforced turnovers by either team, but Canada has really been deliberate, and then at the end of those possessions found the back of the net, right? Haudenosaunee have had a couple great transition opportunities where they just haven't scored, and I think if they find 2 or 3 of those, it's a whole nother game. That's where being efficient, being able to put the ball in the back of the net is huge. And then when you have a goalie like Brett Dobson who steps up and makes save after save, you can really rally behind that and get on these runs.
Dobson seems so patient, but you use the expression locked in. He's seeing it very well out of the cross of the Haudenosaunee, and his moves have been very powerful, very quick. Whereas Ward, I think, when he's in there for Canada, plays the position with great size, taking an angle. Dobson's moves have been laser point effective and shutting down Haudenosaunee. Leclerc off the crossbar.
Yeah, you bring up a great point. You asked why this game is so special. Because you can have 2 different goalies, right? You can have 2 completely different styles, and they both can be successful, and that's a great illustration of that.
Logan McNaney, who tends to twine for Team USA, former Maryland standout, outstanding rookie netminder in the PLL this past summer, says goalies play on all sorts of different arcs. Firth will work in.
And we'll see him and Colin Kirst, who plays a different, bigger style as well.
Absolutely. Van Valkenburg more in the frame of McNaney in terms of height and stature. Made a good save there, good body save for Haudenosaunee. They need to start chipping away fast. There's not a lot of time in these games. There's just 4 minutes remaining in regulation. Marquis whirling, makes a one-handed flip that was ill-advised. Back comes Canada.
Ty English.
2-on-1, it's English on the finish.
It just seems like every time there's transition, number 9 is somehow involved, as he's got 3 goals directly from that transition.
Mitch, if I'm not mistaken, I think he has 6 on the day.
It's my count as well. Sock trick for those who know.
Rollback Deer, inside he scores. Putting an end to Canada's run. Thankfully for Haudenosaunee. McConvey gets it in gear. He goes right to the hoop and scores.
I believe other than Ty Banks, he was the only player who hadn't scored yet, so.
Pacino rings the pipe. Rebound out of bounds, new possession, new shot clock for Haudenosaunee in the final 3:15.
Do you remember I said every shot's a turnover, Joe? I was wrong. Off the post, you get the ball back.
It's all semantics, Mitch. Don't worry about that. Never let that get in the way of a good story. Feed to the crease. Blaze Becker off the hitch. Behind the back over the shoulder that was stopped, that was Trey Deer. Once again, Canada locking in defensively. There's a whistle.
And I thought that was great defense by Canada. Really good ball movement by the Haudenosaunee as well. So we're waiting for the adjudication here.
30 seconds, there's going to be 30 and 30.
Yep. So 2 30-second penalties. Too many men. One of them.
This answers another of my Sixes questions. You can have just 3 men on the field defensively. Canada, 2 men down, 5-on-3. The feed from the angle for a layup inside. That's Trey Deer with a 5-on-3 power play goal.
He notches the first hat trick for the Haudenosaunee. That was nice ball movement. Now they've really got to run for their lives here as Ty English.
You have 10 seconds to clear the midline. That's an over and back violation against Canada. Haudenosaunee right back to the work late on the extra man. Tall Chief puts it top shelf. Dobson then throws a 30-yard laser for a breakaway score at the other end. On the conversion, Ty Banks.
Just on cue, I said the only guy who hadn't put one in for Canada, Ty Banks coming out of the box on that turnover of the penalty.
Ty Banks, captain of the Minto Cup champions Coquitlam. as he gets Canada back on board and leading comfortably with less than 2 minutes to go.
And Joe, one thing in talking to this staff on the Haudenosaunee side, they weren't worried about the score. They were worried about making sure they're setting the tone for not just this weekend, but moving forward, the Haudenosaunee Nationals program, especially in the sixes discipline. These are the guys that are going to take them to the next level. These are the guys I mentioned about being all in, who are going to take lacrosse as their full-time gig and try to push it as far as they can as they head towards 2028 in the Olympics in LA.
The Haudenosaunee, they'll get Puerto Rico tomorrow. Canada squaring off with the USA in a marquee men's matchup. This is the second of 4 games this Friday in Atlas Cup play. We're getting set for another game in the men's bracket. It will involve Team USA against Puerto Rico. That's to follow once Haudenosaunee and Canada are done. Haudenosaunee had a 4-3 lead after 8 minutes. Haudenosaunee led at the halftime break, but the second half has been owned by the guys in black.
Yeah, mix of ball movement and Brett Dobson standing on his head have really created the difference maker so far. In that third quarter, they pulled away, and now Haudenosaunee getting a little bit signs of life here in the fourth.
Pacino with a sneaky pass that's intercepted by Dobson. Firth has a 2-on-1 developing with English. Goes to the goal himself, and Valkenburg took that one in the shins. That one stings. Canada keeps possession.
Hurts a lot less when it doesn't go in, though, right?
You ain't kidding.
Canada comfortable being a little bit patient here.
Ty English, captain of the Carolina Tar Heels, stashes another one. The goal total mounting for Team Canada. Its women's team put 22 on the board against Puerto Rico to open up the Women's Atlas Cup. The guys have done them one better in the final minute. Blaze Becker, challenge on the outside. Pacino, good face dodge. Tremendous handle, he scores. How in the world did he keep that in his cross?
Stumbling, bumbling through the middle as he gets checked. I think that probably was going to be a penalty that got waved off with the goal. You know what? That doesn't happen in sixes, so the refs are going to say that was clean.
21-second differential between shot clock and game clock as Peterson adds some window dressing for Team Canada. 24 goals for the Canadians in this one as we get to the final half minute. Jackson launching the Haudenosaunee to the offensive end. Tayoni Galante offers to Dalton Kane, gets it back. Galante whistles and scores.
And they kind of dared him to shoot that. They gave him that gap, a nice little skip pass by the Haudenosaunee, and Tayoni Galante says, I'll take that.
Canada walking out with a victory. The second half rally and offensive perfection, they turned it up and roll by Haudenosaunee. The final count in stadium, 24-15.
Your final score, Canada 24, Haudenosaunee 15. Congratulations to both teams. Thank you all for joining us for Game 2 of the 2025 Atlas Cup.
Let's talk about this one. Your thoughts in the aftermath of a Team Canada win?
Yeah, I think it looked like early they were trying to feel each other out, and Team Canada was able to get the right spacing, started to push the pace and transition intelligently, and they just had that poise that really shows these guys have been there before.
Eddie Cameau, the head coach for Canada, has to be very, very comfortable, and he told us he was with his two netminders. So well established, so familiar with the process. Dobson was magnificent in relief.
Yeah, I thought he really gave them a spark in that second half. He made one or two big saves that stopped any chance of a Haudenosaunee run, and then Canada just kept their foot on the gas, using those saves to transition the ball up. And Ty English was spectacular, doing it all. Big checks on defense, and then pushing the pace and scoring on offense.
Haudenosaunee had a lead at the first quarter break. They led after 2 quarters. In fact, at the half, it was a 10-9 game. And then Canada would turn it on in expert fashion. That 7-goal third quarter helping to do the trick for Team Canada as we look back at some highlights in this high-scoring affair.
Yeah, you can see how important it is just to get your hands free if you're in that range. But then you can also push through. You can get those underneath moves. Because it's so physical against short sticks, there are going to be opportunities. And that guy number 7 right there has been doing it every format of the sport. He really led the way with a ton of assists, spreading the wealth out, and both sides just pushing the pace up and down. Ultimately, I think that the white and purple just ran out of gas.
Yeah, they did. They looked like they had plenty of jump to start. The temperatures weren't nearly as high as they were for Team Canada's women's games. The sun was setting over Tierney Field. Team Canada turning up the jets in the second half, solving the netminder for Haudenosaunee, Jack Van Valkenburg. They clicked for 24 goals against number 8 in the white.
And the thing that really shocks me, when you look at the shots by period, both teams kind of stayed consistent. It's just really when you get in that third and fourth, it's the goal to shot ratio for Canada that shoots up. They shot 50% in the third and then 4 for 11. I'm not going to try to do that math in my head, Joe, but that's a pretty darn good shooting percentage across those 2 quarters. And that was ultimately the difference in this second half.
These guys getting out in the sixes format, venturing to the cage fearlessly. Goalie's nightmare. Goalie's nightmare. That was a 5-on-3 extra man goal for Haudenosaunee. And end to end, it seemed like Canada had too much horsepower for Haudenosaunee.
Yeah, they just kept finding the gaps, getting their hands free, and really capitalizing.
This one's in the banks in favor of Team Canada. Canada will play the United States tomorrow. You break down the numbers, shots on goal were relatively close.
Yeah, I mentioned that in the third and fourth quarters. It really was just the goals to shot ratio, that efficiency that Eddie Camo was looking for. Saves, 13 saves for Canada. A lot of those coming from Brett Dobson in the second half.
Mitch Belisle, our Capelli player of the game. Team Canada's Ty English, who in the second half could not miss.
He was a transition warrior, defending on the D end, picking the ball up, and then pushing the pace. He scored a total of 7 goals of the 23.
And wouldn't you know it, we have Ty English side by side with Mitchell Pehlke.
Player of the game, Ty English here, 7 goals on the performance. What was the mindset coming into today, obviously wearing carrying it on your chest?
Yeah, I think anytime you can represent our country and put the maple leaf on, it feels pretty good. So just being able to go out there and compete your hardest, and I think playing fast was a big turn for us, and I think that we handled it pretty well. I think the start could have been a little better, but I think we made up for it in the second half.
I like that. We interviewed Coach Camo earlier this week. He said each game's going to be a barn burner. Did you feel that on the field today?
Yeah, I definitely. I think that was that was what the thought process was going in. Like, everybody's going to be a contender. And there's no rolling teams here. Everybody's going to be able to score. Haudenosaunee played great out there. We were able to take away the second half, but it was definitely a barn burner for that first 3 quarters, pretty much.
Definitely. Obviously, the big one you guys won is USA. Coming up here in the next couple of days when you guys get the chance to play them, what is the mindset with you and your team?
I think, getting 2 games under our belt now, I think a lot of us had, no prior experience, and some of us did. I think that experience was big for us, and now we can, scrimmaging USA, now playing Haudenosaunee, I think we can build off that. There's so much more nuances to the game that nobody really knows. So I think that us being able to learn that for today is big, and being able to go and film and be able to compete with USA, I think we can for sure. So
I like that. Thanks, Ty.
All right, appreciate it. Have a good one.
Fellas, thank you very much. A Friday slate for the Atlas Cup on USA Lacrosse's YouTube channel. We're halfway home with the Friday foursome. 2 games remain, Mitch. We get to see Team USA's men's squad on the field next.
They've been here training for the last few days, and they're looking forward to putting that all out there and showing what they've been working on for the past 3 days right here in Sparks, Maryland.
That runs up at 7. The nightcap will feature Team USA's women's squad as they battle Haudenosaunee. So, this one in the books in favor of Canada. We're halfway home on what is an action-packed Friday of lacrosse here at Tierney Field. For Mitch Belisle, from Mitchell Pehlke, for all the men and women in our technical crew, Joe Beninati, thanks so much for your time. We'll see you at 7 for the next Atlas Cup game on the USA Lacrosse YouTube channel.